Good morning. Let me introduce our project Garage خاص. When a driver comes to park, it parks in the parking slot, the LED will turn off. If he continues to drive until he becomes too close to the wall, the buzzer will turn on until he gets back. The number of free parking slots will be displayed in the LCD. 2. Initially it was 3. Then a timer will start to calculate the duration the car will stay in the garage in order for the driver to pay when he leaves. Thank you. And now with Fatma, we'll talk to you about the components and its connections.
Hello, my name is Fatma el-Azab. I will tell you about the component and the connection that we use in our project. In general, we use 3 IR sensors, 3 LED, 2 breadboards, 1 Arduino board, and 1 flame sensor, and 4 buzzers, and 1 LCD. In each parking slot, we have one IR sensor, 1 LED. Each IR sensor has 3 wires. The black one is connected to the ground, the red one is connected to the voltage, which is 5 volt, and the yellow one is connected to the analog input for the Arduino. The LED light has 2 wires. The gray one is for the negative, for the ground, and the green is connected in series with the resistor that is connected to the output of the Arduino board. We have the 4 buzzers. Each one has a ground and one for the voltage for the output of from the Arduino. 1 flame sensor has 3 wires. 1 for the voltage, and 1 for the ground, and 1 for the analog input. Finally, we use 2x16 LCD that has 3 types of connection. 1 is for the ground, and 1 for the voltage, and 1 for the output from the Arduino. Now I'll leave you with Nada and Salma to discuss the code.
Hello, my name is Salma, and I'm going to discuss with you, me and Nada, the code that we used in our code. First, I'm going to start with the initialization of our sensors and LEDs and buzzers. Here we started by setting the pins of the LCD. Then we assigned the sensors as input pins for the Arduino Uno board, and the LEDs and buzzers as input pins in the Arduino board. Then we have the array of slots where we keep track of each slot is occupied or vacant. Then the array of averages to store the average of the readings of the sensors. And then the counter to make sure we read 100 readings from the sensor, then calculate the average. Here is the timer array where we are going to calculate each duration for each car. Then the array of flags for setting the LED to high or low, and the counters to display the number of empty slots or occupied slots. And the flame is here initialized as high, and those are the messages initially displayed on the LCD. Then here are the functions that we used in our code: the reset, check, check to, get average, and the flame. For the setup, we have set up the buzzers to be the output pins, and initially they are set to be no tone, and then the LEDs are output pins and set initially to high, and our 4 sensors as input. The loop function is our function that acts as the main function that calls all the other functions we used. We first call the flame function and then increment the counter every time we enter the loop. As long as we haven't reached the 100 counts, we keep calling the get average for the 3 sensors. When we reach the counter equal 100, we calculate the average for each sensor and store it in our global array, and then call the three checks for the sensors, check 1 and check 2. And finally we reset every variable after each 100 counts. And now I'm going to leave you with Nada to discuss each function in details.
Okay, we have here the first function, which is the get average function, that it takes int, which is the sensor index. We will read 100 times from the sensors, and adding these values, and then calculating its average to be accurate and to avoid the fluctuation of the sensors. The second function is the check function, which is taking the sensor number, its LED and its buzzer. We have 3 ranges of values to check. The first one is when the car is in the exact parking slot, so there is no buzzer, and there is a flag that will be set to true because the car is already in the parking slot. Then we have the second range, which is when the car is about to hit, so the buzzer will be turned on. And finally we have the else part, which is when the parking slot is free and there is no cars in it, so there is no buzzer, and the flag is set to false, and now we have the reset function, which reset every variable in the code. And finally we have the flame function, which is responsible to detect the fire and turn on its buzzer.